Are you a generational recoder? Well, we're going to see. I'm Divine Priestess Ishtah. I am going to be your spiritual teacher and guide. I want you to sit back, relax, and preferably grab something to record notes with. We are going to discover if you have some of these 9 signs that you have not heard anywhere else before, okay? We're going to see if you are a generational recoder. Do you recreate and heal and transcend the bloodline so that way the new generation of your family, your ancestry, and your predecessors, so that way they receive the benefits of your healing hard work? Okay, so I'm going to go over some signs that identify if you are a generational, what I like to call a generational recoder. Okay, so welcome everybody. Today's lesson, we're going to treat it like a spiritual class or a quick spiritual workshop. I want you to have fun with this. I do want you to ask questions, but I want us to get to the nitty gritty because there are some things that we're going to go over and we're going to learn. The first thing is I want you to be able to clearly identify, even if you do not possess all of these signs, I want you to be able to clearly identify if you, or maybe somebody that you know, is what I have titled a generational recoder. I've noticed these generational recoders starting to pop up more and more in my healing work and my healing practice. I've noticed it because I tend to attract those of us who are already healers and those of us who are on a path where we're annexing and aligning with our shadows to maximize our potential and our inner God potential. So these signs I've kind of put together and I'm like, wow, I wonder if this is something that's happening as a phenomena or if this is just something that in the immediate collective I associate with are experiencing too. So let's see. So, sign number 9, and this is in no particular hierarchy. And again, if you don't experience all of these signs, it says nothing foul or bad or malice about you. And if you have all of these signs, it doesn't say anything super great about you either. This is spiritual intelligence that I want you to leave with, more informed with who you are, so that way you can start to learn what it is that you can do out here in this world. So, sign number 1. This is one of the darker signs that some might say because a lot of people do not like to talk to the dead. The first sign I will say is necromancy and mediumship. I've noticed in generational recoders that our psychic eyes and ears can see and hear dead relatives, even if some of those dead relatives are friends. If you see me looking down sometimes, it's because I've taken a lot of notes on this. If I can open the book up, and I don't want to miss a beat. I want to make sure that you're leaving with as much knowledge that I can give you as possible today. But you will notice that this can include family friends as well. So those in the family who might have been like a bestie to your grandma or like a really good great auntie, but you called her auntie, but she wasn't really auntie. Individuals like that, they may want to visit you. And some of the reasons why they visit you is because they may need some help crossing over on the other side. They might also be already crossed over on the other side, but they need your aid in the spirit world. You might be asking yourself, well, how can I help someone that's in the spirit world? But there are ways that you can actually help your ancestors or loved ones who have crossed over and give them some support there. So it is possible. It's not something that you can't do, it's just something that you have to learn how to do. So this is one of the first signs that I did notice. Sign number 2 is deep transformation. I noticed that when a lot of individuals who become generational recoders, they start to be like nothing like they were before. Their personalities are almost beginning to shift. They are starting to expand their intellect, their interests, their desires start to be different. You might notice if you resonate with sign number 8, deep transformation, you might notice that even your style, your appearance, you might do something a little bit more radical or a little bit more rebellious, or maybe something that's a little bit more strict, more in alignment with the inner self and truth that you feel. I also noticed with this sign here that there tends to be walk-in beings. Now, some of you might be wondering, like, did she just say a walk-in being? Yes. Walk-ins are a real phenomenon in spiritual communities and spiritual culture. And if you would like to know more about what a walk-in is, I'd be more than happy to share my own personal experience with having a walk-in being myself. But for the most part, it's not something that's meant or intended to scare you. But some of you may notice that a part of your deep transformation happened after you started venerating or working with or aligning your spiritual body to work with a particular deity, a particular spiritual or religious order, and so forth. When that happens, there can be, not always, and you do have to give permission. Again, if you want to know more, let me know in the comments, but you can tend to open yourself up to walk-in beings that are here to assist you. And yes, there is another side to that. There are walk-in beings that can harm you as well. So let's go to our next sign. This is sign number 7, stepping outside of social norms. This is when you tend to start feeling like the odd man or odd woman out in social settings that were once very compatible, once very comfortable. You knew everybody. Y'all cool, right? And now all of a sudden it's like, damn, I don't really feel like I fit in here anymore. I don't want to do a lot of the activities that I used to do anymore with these individuals. You'll notice that you'll start to identify disagreeable behavioral patterns. So maybe your colleagues or like your social settings, there tends to be a lot of gossiping. And now you're like, damn, all we do is sit and talk about people, like, or talk about them, or talk about that. Like, I don't want to be negative. I don't want to talk about people. I don't want to keep gossiping. There might also be bullying present in your social circles. Like, damn, like, we're kind of mean. Like, I didn't know how much bullying that occurred in my social circles. Like, I don't know if these are really my friends or my frenemies. It feels like no, you got to really work hard to earn a compliment or a rub or pat on the back. You'll also notice that you're outgrowing these social settings in sign number 7 in being a generational recoder is you'll notice that you'll start to outgrow what was once like a very shareable and highly addictive, let's say, enjoyable activity. So maybe y'all all drink together. Maybe y'all all blazed together, smoke weed. Maybe y'all all smoke cigarettes together and like snap your fingers walking down a dark alley wearing black leather jackets. I don't know. Maybe y'all all played a particular sport together. There's something that was may have been a glue to the camaraderie that now all of a sudden it just feels like I don't want to do that no more. I don't want to go to that place anymore. We always go to that bar. We always do this thing. We always hang out in your basement. We always smoke weed. We're always, hanging out in a corner, like doing fuck shit. This is stuff that you're going to start to outgrow naturally. And this is one of the biggest signs when your social groups don't fit you anymore. So let's look at the next one, which is number 6. Number 6 is where you'll start to notice that things are actually starting to fail. Things are actually starting to fall apart for you. Like you thought things were great at work, and all of a sudden you're having these challenges with your supervisor, your boss, your clients, your colleagues, your performance, your metrics, your sales, your salary. It's like, what? I'm not getting how much? I thought we negotiated that before. You might notice things are starting to fail in your relationships, not just the friends that we've talked about, but family members, feeling like you need more distance from them. Things might be failing in romantic relationships, in your sex life, in your love life, in your overall life. And this is a mega sign. This is a huge sign because this means that the hero journey has finally began. This means that your soul has come into your life to sprinkle a little bit of chaos, to shake you up, to wake you up, and to put you into a more aligned path. But in order for that to do that, in order for order to pursue, is what I should say, chaos must first endure. So that shake up period, that thing, that sign of everything is failing right now, this is one of the best signs that you could have. So let's look at the next one, which is number 5. You're becoming the hermit. At this point, you're ready to expand inward. You're ready to expand outward. You're ready to understand more about the cosmos and how you are this star matter and how you actually matter, how you are connected, not connected, and also what the hell you are even connected to. This is where you might start to descend on this rabbit hole that leads to another rabbit hole that ends up at another and final rabbit hole. And that is the discovery and the pleasure of playing in the playpen with wisdom. This is where you are really starting to gain deep wisdom about yourself. And that's where that solidifying of knowledge of self starts to create and generate. And it's at this point. I want to check my notes here to make sure I'm collecting everything. This is also a point where shadow work will occur, where you are doing a lot of deep self-reflection. And that self-reflection is not just for the hell of it, where you're just sitting there like that statue pondering. This is also about, okay, this is what I've actualized, because in order for you to actualize, you have to reflect. You got to, run that tape back, run it back so you can hear, so you can see. So you run back your life tape live in your mind by just self-reflecting, thinking, running through your day. What did I do? How did I say? How did I handle this? Because what that leads to next is personal investment. We like to call this shadow work. Your personal investing is something that occurs heavily at this hermit phase. And ultimately, it does lead to you kind of identifying what your own cosmic signature is. You can't get there without the shadow. So let's look at our next sign, number four. Number four is about becoming a proud black sheep. Yes, I mean, literally, you're going to become a black sheep and you're going to be very proud of it at this point when you resonate with this sign. And that a lot of times looks like unsubscribing from family traditions. Now, what are family traditions? Let's break them down. Some family traditions could just mean something as simple as not participating in an arranged marriage. This varies across cultures, it varies across societies, okay? But maybe you don't want to participate in an arranged marriage. Maybe you don't want to marry at all. Or perhaps you do want to marry, but the person is not of your particular ethnic or cultural background. Maybe they're not your religion. Or maybe you want to date outside of the standard gender assigned relationship, which is maybe same sex. Or maybe you're more attracted to someone who associates with non-sexual identity. So this is more personalized. This is where becoming the black sheep can be really scary, but it's a calling that your soul wants more than anything else. Another thing that you'll notice at this stage, number four, when you're becoming a proud black sheep, is you start to attend holidays or choose not to attend certain holidays. When I say by this is you may start to adapt your own holidays, and a lot of times you'll adapt that through the hermit phase, but you may adapt these holidays or you may decide that I don't want to go to Thanksgiving anymore. A lot of Black families and Black individuals, or African American, however they choose to identify, Indigenous Americans, I'll say, we are starting to move away from Thanksgiving, just to give an example here in the US, because many of us have done our research, we're doing our cultural reflection, self reflection, and we're noticing that we don't want to be affiliated with certain cultural traditions that were directly against our perhaps cultural history or our indigenous background. So this doesn't have to be something political. It could just mean something as simple as you're choosing not to participate in Christmas this year, or you're adopting a new tradition. Maybe you want to actually do Kwanzaa. Maybe you want to do Hanukkah and your family is a little bit more liberal and they don't participate. It also means that at this point you are ready to start creating familial boundaries because that's really what all this is saying here at this stage, creating those boundaries with your family that protects your views, protect your values, as well as protects the new customs that you are instituting in your own life. Let's look at our next sign. We're almost there. Sign number three is all about thinking like a professional pioneer. And you might be wondering, well, what do you mean? Well, this means that you are choosing not to pursue a traditional professional or career track. Maybe in your family, everyone's a doctor. Maybe everyone's a pastor. Maybe a lot of your family members went to the military, or none of them did. Maybe they did missionary work, or maybe they didn't. Maybe they all owned a bakery, maybe a shoe store. Maybe they all opened a GNC or a mattress company, or they went into tech. Whatever it is, it's common that at this phase, those of us who identify as a generational recoder, we are choosing not to participate in the traditional professional path. Perhaps you want to be an artist, or you want to be a singer, or you want to be something that your family, if you told them out loud, they'll look at you like, what? You're right. And this is not just that way. Maybe there are no doctors or lawyers in your family, and you want to be the first doctor, and your family's looking like, yeah, fat chance you'll make it there. Do you know where we're from? We're from the hood. We don't become doctors. And I don't mean that personally speaking. I mean that to the hecklers and haters that might be around you in your circle to prevent you from expanding. You absolutely can be whatever the fuck you want to be. It don't matter where you're from. Okay. So, but at this point and at this phase, a lot of your career and your profession is connected to the soul because the soul is like, hey, you, yeah, yeah, come here. Hey, I'm your soul. Nice to meet you. For the longest time, I've been trying to get your attention. I think we would really like being, boom, insert the thing that you would want to be. So, this is where you feel very called to your destiny, very called to your professional fate, and also very called to your path. No matter how untraditional it is, non-traditional it is, excuse me, whether you want to be a healer, an influencer. I even wrote down here a mortician. Somebody out there wants to be a mortician, or just a religious and spiritual leader of your own sort. Let's look at our next and almost final sign. So sign number two is this deep desire that we developed over time, or I should say develop over time. And that deep desire is one that allows us to heal the ancestral bloodline. We get to this point in our healing that we're like, you know what? I feel like I'm ready to connect with my roots. I'm ready to channel that ancient power from those who stepped and walked this earth, who bled on this earth, who were buried in this earth or in the ethers of this earthly realm before me. This is where you will start to want to study or and or I should say create and develop your own ancestral veneration rituals and ceremonies. This is where you may want to hire a spiritual practitioner or really get yourself a lot of good books on the subject. This is a specialty of mine. So for those of you who are looking at this phase to really lock in your ancestral veneration, or perhaps you just want to talk about all of these signs more extensively, look at my service menu, and I would recommend that you book the spiritual consultation. That will really help you to lock in many of these signs and to get a better understanding of what you're feeling and what to do. But here's where you're going to develop those ceremonies, those rituals, those practices, and those personal traditions that brings you closer to this bloodline that it is you're ready to recode. And ultimately, to recode it, you'll have to heal it. So, are you ready for our final sign? Perfect. Don't forget that I have two YouTube channels. I have a pick a card channel where we do a lot of soul discovery. That is a tarot channel. So you'll see that in the description, as well as some of the freebies that I have in the description. I've got a lot of them and they're starting to grow. And a lot of the other offers that I have right now available to the public, get them while supplies last, because your girl be busy. Okay. All right. Final sign. This is the biggest one for me. This is the most major one of them all. Do you see how I'm kind of getting excited, but I'm trying to calm down so I don't scare you away so soon? Okay. This is where you become ready to actually heal the bloodline. Like you start breaking those familial taboos. What do I mean by that? You start saying to yourself, you know what? I'm not going to allow what I saw that I did not agree with as a child, and some of you as an adult, as a teen, at whatever phase in your lifespan cycle. I'm not allowing this to go on any further. I choose to heal this. And one of the best ways to heal this is by attending therapy. I am right now training at the internship level to be a licensed mental health therapist. And my goal is to help as many people that look like me and don't look like me to get past that stigma that therapy is only for people who are labeled as crazy. This is the point when you start with sign number one of being a generational recoder. When you start breaking those familial taboos, you start looking at things that the family tried to hide, the racism that your family tried to hide, the potentially molestations and sexual assaults that may have occurred in your family that your family may try to hide. And this is not saying that every family experienced this, but those forms of trauma that have come up in everybody's family. You show me the family and I'll tell you the trauma. There's not one without it. It's just, did we heal it? Did we handle it? And are we ready to? So being a generational recoder, my friends, it's not something that comes as an easy feat. It's not something where you will feel as if like this is the greatest gift I could ever have in the beginning. But over time, you get there. Over time, you start to see the value in the individual work that you're doing as it relates to the entire family. So let me know in the comments because I've got to know who are the generational recoders out there in the world. I'm excited to share this earthly experience with you. Let's connect, let's talk, let's work together, let's collaborate if those of you are out there ready to do that. And if not, just share your thoughts, share your energy, share your space, take up some space, and use this platform as that opportunity to do that. And until next time, see y'all.